let's jump into the Monday Nighter before we turn the page. What do you got from? What's your takeaway from the doubleheader results from Monday night, Albert?
Well, so like the Lions, I think the takeaway is that might be the most complete team in football right now, and the most complete roster in football right now. And God, were there some dumb things said after week one, after they lost at Lambeau. I think what you're seeing right now is, we've given Dan Campbell a lot of credit, and rightfully so, for digging that organization out of the hole that it was in, back in 2021. I think maybe the person we haven't given enough credit to is the general manager, Brad Holmes, because even though they lost Ben Johnson and Aaron Glenn in the offseason, that still was a team full of talented young players, and it was on display again last night with Jahmyr Gibbs and Amon-Ra St. Brown and Penei Sewell and what he's meant to that team, and Aiden Hutchinson and Jack Campbell. And God, they didn't have Brian Branch, but he's one of those players too. That is a talented, balanced, young roster. Even still, they've got a quarterback who's playing at an MVP level in Jared Goff. And so I think for the third straight year, they're very firmly in the Super Bowl mix, even without those coordinators that were part of building the thing up. And then, in the late game, I think it's hard not to look first at the struggles that CJ Stroud has had with a new offensive coordinator and how the Texans are going to dig themselves out of it. And on the flip side, I'd say Seattle, I sort of looked at Seattle coming into the year like I looked at Green Bay. They had a lot of very good young players that, some of the guys that came aboard as a result of all the capital they got in the Russell Wilson trade. So, just like Green Bay, to me, they were this team full of very good players, and it's like, can they elevate to become great players? And I think you're starting to see that with the young players really becoming such important pieces of their core on defense, guys like Byron Murphy and Eamon Warry, who they just drafted, and Devin Witherspoon. And then on the offensive side, JSN becoming one of the best receivers in all of football. Charles becoming one of the best left tackles in all of football. The two backs, Charbonnet and Walker. And then, Sam Darnold, I think, proving to all of us that last year really wasn't a fluke, that this is who he's becoming as a quarterback. And so, I look at the job Mike McDonald and John Schneider have done, just not even just, getting those guys, building the roster back up, again, in part through all the capital they got in the Russell Wilson trade, but then developing those guys and those guys continuing to get better. And, I think certainly there's a lot of intention, rightfully so, on Jackson Smith and Jake Bendel, how he's played the last few weeks. But there are a lot of guys on that roster just like that were already really good players coming into the year that I think are on the precipice of becoming great players.
Hey, you made it all the way to the end. Thanks for that. Check us out every single day streaming live on Disney Plus and the ESPN app 12 to 3 Eastern.